Hey everybody. So, you know what today is here on Xavia Fox Talks. Today is that day you've been waiting for. We are doing the Sisters Circle. Yeah, we did the Brothers of the Round Table and they had a lot to say. But now the women are going to tell the men. We're going to answer some of, okay, they. I'm not going to say a word. Not many. They are going to answer the questions that you men have submitted. They're going to give you the answers to the questions that you want to know. Because I know that a lot of you have said that women don't really know what they want, but they really do, right?
Yes.
Yes. See, they know what they want. So we have a wonderful group of women here, and now we're going to get started. The ladies are going to present their questions. If you've watched the Brothers of the Round Table, then you know the format that we're about to follow. We're about to have some really great discussions. So, get a drink. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be alcoholic, though, you know, I always promote a good chocolate martini. But you can get some coffee. Don't drink soda, because you know the acid is bad for you. Get you some juice or a smoothie, you know, something good for you, or a chocolate martini. Here we go.
Well, ladies, my question is, why is there not a sisterhood and women's dealing with other women's men? And my answer to that is, I think that happened because men have pinned us together once against one another. And not only that, it's the insecurity, because why would we have to settle for less and deal with stolen property, as I call it? Because if you're dealing with another woman's husband or another woman's man, that's stolen goods. They're tainted in a sense because you're getting seconds. So what happened with the sisterhood, because of the insecurities, we have vendettas against one another, because I'm upset with her because I'm seeing her husband, which he does not belong to me because he is a stolen good. So therefore, that is the beginning of the disconnect between a sisterhood. That's where the cattiness comes in, because we get to examine her, thinking that if I was the other woman, I'm thinking, what is it about her that she does not have that he's keep coming to me? And I'm wrong because I'm dipping in a jar that do not belong to me. So you ladies want to help me in on that, to chime in and see what are your thoughts on that question?
I think we talked about this earlier. The whole sisterhood, where is it gone? I don't really think there's ever really been any. If you look back, to be honest, has there ever really been a true sisterhood where we really respected each other, been there for each other, and not trying to sleep with each other's men? I don't think it's ever really been. It's actually only gotten worse. Now, just speaking from experience, when you talk about a woman sleeping with another man's, woman's man or husband, I've experienced both. I dated a married man for a while, and from my own experiences, that was lack of security within myself, envying what another woman had. I didn't have it. And then basically not being taught to respect another woman's, I don't want to say property, but another woman's relationship, whether it's marriage or you're just dating. Some of that's not taught. I can't say that for everybody, but in some cases, you're just not raised. That's just not spoke about in the house. You grow up, you meet a man. Most parents don't say, oh, well, you don't go and date somebody else's man or somebody else's woman. That's not something that's highly spoken of. So when women become adults, we see something that we like, we go after it. And most of the times, we know they have a man. So I mean, for me, sisterhood, I honestly don't think it's ever really been there. And it's, like I said, one of the 7 deadly sins. Women are very envious of other women. Women are very jealous of other women. It's like we don't really know how to support, or we just refuse to support other women because we're selfish. I mean, the truth be told, I lived it, and so I can only speak for experience. And, you have the lesser of the two evils, whether you date a woman with a husband or a woman with a man. Neither one of them should be done. Just because she's not married to that man, you still should not get involved with it, because guess what? It's a love triangle, and it's not going to end well for any of us.
Just to add into it, I think for me, speaking on experience, I have gotten caught up, not in a serious relationship with a married man, but I want to say kind of wooed by a married man, but I took the time to kind of, I guess, look more so into myself and realize that I was allowing this guy to say things to me and encourage me to believe that the woman he was with, his wife, that he was with, was not doing him right, and that I was this better woman for him. But the truth of the matter was, I was allowing this to happen because, you know, I didn't have my father in my life. This guy was a lot older than me. So dealing with him, I was seeking for that love and affection that I wasn't getting from my father. At the time, it was, you know, I wasn't thinking that. You know, it's just like, okay, you know, she's not making him happy. Okay, whatever, you know. But I didn't allow it to go, you know, too far. I stopped it, you know, before it got too serious. And I think that's what happens with a lot of other women. So many women are so quick to jump down the woman's throat. Why are you messing with my man and this and that, and want to fight the woman and do this and that? But it's a lot more to it. And for me, it went all the way back to childhood and not having my father in my life and not having that male figure in my life telling me you are worth more, you deserve better, and you know, this and that.
I think that part of the problem with the sisterhood is a lack of love, and it's a lack of self-love, a lack of love for each other, and a lack of knowledge on knowing how to love sisters. Oftentimes we talk about fathers not being present. We have mothers that are present who sometimes don't share or don't know how to share the emotional needs that females need. And so when it comes to the backbiting and all the negative things that we women do to each other, sometimes it's simply we were not taught how, and then we didn't as adults take it upon ourselves and make it our personal responsibility to learn how. So then when you take that and add into it, okay, I'm going to date someone else's husband or boyfriend, that's just another symptom of not having the love in the first place. I too, unfortunately, can say that I entertained a married man, and I did it after my second divorce. And the reason why I did it was because I think it was partially a lack of love of myself for a certain period of time, but it was also because I was tired of being the person that got, so I'm gonna get somebody. And unfortunately,
You were the one who been got.
it was some getting going all over the place, and it was a bad deal. But at the end of the day, I knew better, and I didn't let it last long, and I disconnected, and I asked God for forgiveness. It was even multiplied because I knew the wife. And so it was a very bad situation, and she suspected something was up, but she couldn't put her finger on it. So once I just got real with myself and went back in my closet with God and said, this is not me, and I'm truly sorry for her, for him, and for me, and I need to remove myself and not do this again, I still, as much as I can salvage respect, respected their situation, and it all ended. So it was really just, again, a lack of love and just selfishness. And so I choose not to be that person going forward, and I would pray that I would not put myself or anyone else in that position. But again, I think the root cause is just a lack of love.
And it's, you know, that's the challenge of being unified, because, you know, I agree with what everyone said, with the insecurity that a lot of women possess, and a lot of it does come from not having a father in the home, because that's your first example of how a man's supposed to treat you. And if he's not there to provide that example, then, you know, you find a lot of unself, or not loving yourself and not respecting yourself. And so how can you respect someone else when you don't even know how to love or respect yourself? But I also had another idea of, I think we have this concept that there's only this amount of good men in the world, you know, where I think a lot of time as women, we don't see the beauty in all different types of men. You know, if they're not making this amount of money or doing this, or, you know, then we're like, okay, they're not a good man, but he is, even though he's married, and you know, he doesn't belong to me, but he has everything I want, so I'm gonna go over there and take it. And I think that's some of the problems that we have. And the reality is if women did not put up with that anymore, there would be no more change.
Right.
We have so much power as women, we don't even understand the power that we have. We can stop so many things if we just band together and stick together.
It's twofold though, because the woman or girlfriend at home have to hold them accountable. And the woman that's on the outside, she needs to respect herself, because at the end of the day, we always say we don't owe each other anything, but we do owe each other everything, and love and respect at the end of the day. So you're right. It's a two-fold.
Just to touch on everything, I think it goes back to self-work and really holding themselves accountable. Nobody wants to be accountable. I don't owe this wife anything. I didn't marry her. You know, that's the attitude. And until that attitude change, men are going to continue to do this. And, you know, it's almost as if we give in at the end. And I find so many people say, well, you know, it's on his wife, you know, she should be doing something that he owed her, but his wife could be doing everything at home correctly, but because we have this one person outside that's, you know it's wrong. I don't know what he's doing. You know what he's doing. So I think it's just holding themselves accountable. The person who's outside the relationship.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to do, but I mean, I guess it goes back to self-work and what we talk.
I'm just going to flip that for a minute, consistently. Now, we're speaking about us, women, and how we conduct consistently. Now, as you said, you have married men approaching women. They know they're married. And they know what they're going to do or attempt to do is wrong. So where does their role fit in consistently? You understand what I'm saying? Because if you have a wife, she's a female, which means she's a sister. You're going to try to approach another sister. Now you're going to turn two sisters against each other.
That's right.
So my thing is, yes, we have to hold ourselves accountable for the lack of our sisterhood, but we also have to look at the men, the role that they play, because as you said at the beginning, he's married, he has a sister at home, and he's going to go out here and try to approach another sister. When these two sisters approach each other, that's two sisters that just spread apart from each other. You know, so men have to be held accountable in a sense. Now, I'm not going to say it's like some large percentage, but they have to be held accountable because they're in the middle of us sisters.
They have to be held accountable, but people do what they know they can do.
Absolutely.
And they know that they can do that because we allow it to happen.
Right.
So I think the onus is more on
It is.
us.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. I agree. That's right.
Because
I want to make it a large percentage. Right.
Because
I
even
agree.
if they should, but it's really not. When it comes to our sisterhood, it's really no longer up to them. Because if you see, they cause this disconnect among us sisters by having this pettiness when you cheat and do all those things you should not do. So it's up to us to bring that sisterhood back among saying, okay, you're married though, because married men, they're out there, they exist, they try to hit on you, and then I have friends where they are married and they're mad at the other woman, but I'm a woman that say, no, you're married, because I respect marriage, I've been married. So you can't blame her to the sense you immediately want to blame her, but put him back in the hot seat. And a lot of times women don't put that man back in the hot seat.
That's right.
They go after that sister. They get angry at her.
I've been in positions where I've had married men. Actually, I've had several. I don't know if I walk around with a sign on my back or something to say I like married men, but I've had many married men where they don't wear their rings. I honestly did not know that they were married. They go through whatever precautions they need to go through, where I don't find out that they do have someone else. And I have been in a position where I found out a man was married, had no idea that he was married, and the woman came at me. And I had no idea. I honestly had no idea. So the man definitely should be held accountable, and you know, they real speak, but it is a lot more the weight should be held on women, but the men definitely should.
That's true, because when we stop, then when we sure they have no choice. When we stop it amongst us, if we form that unity, a unity is a strong bond that no one can break. But if the union is unbroken and there's no road to repair it, then they're going to continue to be able to, because it's like whatever you can do, if I can do it, I'm going to get away with it. You know, if you're a selfish individual, but if all those doors has been locked and blocked them from doing it, then they have no other choice to stop.
And the sad part is, as true as it is, we're really saying the dividing factor of sisters is what's between our legs. Because that's what the men want.
But I don't think that's the only thing.
That's one of them when it comes to a man. I don't mean as far as us, you know, females as a whole, but when the man is in the picture, that's the dividing factor. Because that's what they want.
That might be true, but I think One thing that I want to kind of get back to is I think your original question was what's causing the division of the sister circle to begin with. It's not simply a man. We spend a lot of time focusing on the men, but it's really just a lack of knowing how to deal with each other.
Yeah. It's not based on just the men. It's us, period.
I don't think we were saying it's based on the men. I think we just kind of geared on what allowed us to intertwine with another female's husband.
That was the second question.
Right.
Actually, it's a larger scale.
It is a larger
men
scale.
is a larger factor of why
They play a
women are
great part in
disconnected.
it.
But it's interesting, immediately our brains were thinking.
Right, it
Yeah,
did.
that's
She
very
brought up a
interesting.
really good
That's
point.
true too.
Right.
Even though it's a large part, it's not the only part.
It's not
And
the only
it's
part.
But
That's
I think
true.
it starts with us, the inner self. If we really love who we are,
And that's what I
and we
was just about
respect
to
who we
say.
are, and we
Right.
are 100% or 95% okay with who we are as a female, then we will show that love, and we will be able to embrace
Exactly.
other
That's
women.
the
If
point.
we don't
That's
start
true.
with that, how could we embrace another sister?
One of my
That's
really
true.
good friends always say to me and all our other friends, if you're comfortable with yourself and who you are, you're not going to hate on another woman when you see her. You're going to compliment her, or you're going to try to uplift her, when she's down. So you have to be comfortable within
who you
yourself
are.
and who
Yes.
you are and where you are in life.
That's what I said at the beginning, before we went live. I've never been one of the types of women to be envious. Never. I've committed maybe 5, 6 of the 7 deadly sins. That's just not one. Even having gone through everything that I've experienced in my life, my heart is full of love. And I'm going to share it with female, male, it doesn't matter, because we're humans and we deserve respect and love. And in order for me to, provide you with a blessing that I just received, I have to love myself. I have to appreciate that blessing. I'm going to share it with you. And then you pass it forward.
Right.
You keep sharing that love. But it starts with self.
And if it has to start with us at this table, we would begin. I said, you ladies are looking very nice.
And so are you.
There's no envious over here. I said,
I just want to say something from off camera. That's one of the things that is kind of important to me, because I had a woman tell me when I first moved to Chicago, she told me that girlfriends are temporary, so you can be the next one. She said, and you only respect a man's wife as much as he respects her. So I was like, wow.
And
Teaching moment there. I'm like,
how horrible is that?
Respect the man's wife as much as he respects
So
her.
what does that say about her?
What does
that
that
say
I
about
was
her?
insecurity and
You don't know.
She don't know her
Just not been
self-worth.
taught anything that a man
it's
how
true.
he treats his wife. That's horrible. Yeah.
But you're right, I do think the main point, it goes back to how we was raised, because if the encouragement and the love is not shown in the home between a mother and a daughter, then we don't learn, just like when you said your father not being there, what have you. So the learning steps is start there, but if it's not there, like I said, if it has to start with us to show that again, then so be it, we have to start somewhere.
So much go back on what we wasn't raised with. I think at a certain point in your life, you
You're
have to
supposed
have
to know
accountability.
better. That's
You
right.
know
Yeah.
better. You know.
That's right.
Everybody get that little feeling that say,
Don't do
this
that.
ain't right. Let me stop it. You know, so that we can only go so much back to how we were raised, how our childhood was, before we have to take accountability.
Because if that's the case, I've dated a married man, for 6 years, and then right after that got involved with another man, with a woman. Would I do that today? No, I know better today. But at the same time, I was very promiscuous, but I know better. But just because I went through these things as a child doesn't mean I have to continue to do it. At some point, you do know accountability. It's just you're being selfish.
Yes.
And you don't want to make the necessary changes. You're comfortable in who you are. And who you are is not necessarily the right thing. So it's us. It really is. We have to make that first step to say, hey, I love you.
Right.
Whatever I can do for you, I'm going to help you. We have to do that.
That's true.
I like that.
Foxy, I see you.
This girl, Miss Fox, thinks she gon' eat our loaded yam, the whole thing, but that ain't going on. Jimmy Jam gon' smash it. With my guest, Xavia Fox from Xavia Fox Talks.
And you can tell everybody what you want to be called by.
Xavia Fox here, still on the red carpet,
Miss X.